topic would be IBM BigInsights. What is meant by IBM BigInsights? It's a distributions where we can see all the open source components will be integrated into these distributions, and they are providing services to the companies. We can ask, this is the only distributions available in the market, or any other distributions available in the market? Yes, we have lot many distributions are available in the market. The Cloudera and Mapper, Hortonworks, many other distributions are there. Each distribution they are giving their own services and is added value added, some of the value added services. So when you go for any of the distributions, you can decide which service is good and what add-ons, what value added they are giving. So based on that, you can choose distributions. So here we are going to discuss about IBM BigInsights and how it is used, and what are the ecosystems available in IBM BigInsights, and what is the difference between IBM BigInsights and other distributions. So a simple diagram which I given here, big data landscape view. So in the BigInsights version 3.0, currently we have 4.0, but that is not a stable version. So I have mentioned here BigInsights 3.0. So what are the enterprise editions, or what are the editions are available in the BigInsights? There is two different editions are available in BigInsights. One is the enterprise edition and standard editions. You can download this BigInsights in a normal computer. You can install that system or distribution in your computer. You can work on it. Because even this IBM BigInsights is an open source project, open source software, where you can download this one and you can install in a computer. You can play with the data. But when you go for enterprise edition, they will provide some more value added ecosystems and they will provide services. So what are the value added services available in enterprise editions? We have heard about like R language for machine learning purpose, that because they are giving value added, and they are giving BigSheets for a business analyst purpose. It's no need to write any programming or any other query to process the data to generate a report. If unknowing person wanted to generate a report, if unknowing person means like who doesn't know about the language, wanted to don't wanted to learn about the language, they wanted to generate a report. It might be like some business user, they wanted to generate a report from the data. They can use a kind of like Excel sheet, they can do it. The same way only IBM provided a BigSheet. You can import the data into that BigSheet and you can generate a report. That component they are giving here, and they are giving BigSQL. So BigSQL, we will discuss about BigSQL and other components later, because when I discuss about other components means like a normal HDFS Hadoop ecosystems, they are providing some of the component like Hive peak. So when we discuss about that one, I will discuss about this BigSQL and other ecosystems. So it will make sense to how we are using and what is the difference between these ecosystems. So this is a simple diagram, the standard edition and the enterprise edition. This is a common Hadoop code in all the Hadoop distributions. So you can compare this common Hadoop code with other distribution. As I mentioned, this common things means Hadoop architecture, how it is stored in distributions. Because all these components are open source only. You can download directly, you can install in the Linux component, Linux server. But when you downloading these all the components separately from the Apache site and installing this into your Linux systems, it will be useful when you go for a standalone mode. That means your normal computer, if you want to learn, you can install it in your own server, in your own laptop, and you can play with it. But when you go for it, actually, the installation is a very difficult part because each of the component you have to unpair it and you have to set the path and everything. But when you go for you can say this kind of distributions, you can download a VM image and in the server itself. You can directly use that actually. Directly, you no need to configure any of the configuration settings. You can just directly download and you can use all the other ecosystems like HBase, Hive, Big, Oozy, Scoop and Flow. So I have given some of the common component here: HBase, Hadoop, Hive, Big, Zookeeper, Oozy, Ambro, Flume and Scoop. How we are differentiating, because it's an open source. Every month and every 2 months they will generate a new version of it based on the bug release, based on the bug fix. They will release a new version. So what are the versions available in BigInsights? The same component is what versions available in other ecosystems I have listed over here. As I mentioned, these are all the other ecosystems: BigInsights, Hortonworks, Mapper, Pivotal, Cloudera. So this is a future release in IBM Bigdata. These are all the component and these are all the ecosystems version will be available in the future release. This is a high level IBM InfoSphere Bigdata architecture. What are all the systems are available and how they integrated inside the Bigdata distributions. When you see, if you see here, the HDFS is a underlying file systems where the data will be stored. We can store the data in GPFS also. Hadoop file system is a open source component that is developed by Tuckverting when it is developed, but GPFS is a IBM file systems. So most of the case we will use an HDFS file system only. So the underlying file system would be like a HDFS. In top of that, many layers would be there in HBase, MapReduce, Spark, and other components will be available. If you see here, this is like a flow from the bottom to top. HDFS, top of that HBase, MapReduce, all these components will be available in the IBM Bigdata distributions. We will discuss about this HDFS and Big and Hive later. I given some explanation about a MapReduce program. I just wanted to tell about the Spark with the new features available in the market currently. It's a replacement of MapReduce program. How it is works? It is also providing this future release. They are providing Spark also inside the BigInsights distribution. Spark also is kind of like a framework where you can develop the program in a Python or Java or Scala. You can build your own logic. It will run top of RDD, resilient distributed data sets. It's a kind of like a, it will also run on top of HDFS only. If you see here, I have mentioned Spark also, the MapReduce alternative. But what is the difference between MapReduce and Spark means? MapReduce is a programming where it will run on a data node and it will store the data in a local, then again it will read the data from the local and it will run the logic over the distributed manner. But Spark is the technology where we can play the data in memory. So this is totally how to bring the data into a memory and you have to process the data. When you compare to MapReduce program, Spark will be 100 times faster because it's a in-memory systems. So I just mentioned here some of the things about Spark because BigInsights supports Spark in the future release. And they are integrating with the Big and Hive and BigSQL also. So Spark is a new feature. That's what I have to mention here because the future release would be like a supported for other systems also, other ecosystem also. Because when you see here MapReduce program, all these Big and Hive components will be run backside a MapReduce program, and it will be tightly integrated with the MapReducer program. But the Spark also you can integrate with the Pick and Hive and BigSQL. So next would be like how web console look like. What is meant by web console? So if you see here, we were talking about a BigInsights. So when you download this all these ecosystems, which I mentioned here, Pick, Hive, MapReducer program, there will not be any kind of UI when you download these ecosystems from the Apache site. You will install the inside the Linux box. So there will not be any UI to maintain the data. Maintain means maintain or monitor the jobs to like how you are seeing some of the data which is stored in RDBMS. Same thing, you can create some web UI. There you can read the data, how you are seeing how the data is stored inside a table. Because when you're storing inside the table, you will not see how it is stored. It's kind of like a different way to store inside. But when it is goes to the web UI, it will be like a different how user can see them. Same way, when you download the core component in Hive and it will be storing in a Linux bus, there will not be any UI to monitor or to see the data. So IBM BigInsights or any other description, they are giving a UI to see the data, how the data is stored inside the Hadoop file system, and how we can means through the web UI we can call, we can copy the data to one location to other location. We can move the data, and the same way we can monitor the jobs also. So that is called web console. IBM BigInsights, the same data, the same file system, whatever the file systems available inside, and some of the added features are available in the console. Through web you can connect the HDFS file system, means cluster, you can see the data. So I given some of the explanation here about the web console. It's a graphical interface. You can do administration, monitoring, launching application and analyze the data, create a custom dashboard, creating started with the BigInsights. And the installation also you can done through web console. So whatever your major activities you are doing through CLI means through PuTTY you log in into CLI, and there you will do a command, you will execute the command through that. The same thing you can do through web console also. So how we can do that, if you wanted to insert some of the component, you can do it through web console. So I given some of the comments here, like how to launch in the console and all, what is the port number when you have given, how to build the URL given. I took a screenshot I provided here, how the console will look like, how you can monitor the data, how you can launch into applications, how you can publish the application, how you can monitor the cluster and applications. If you see here, this is the managing console, this is the home screen, and then you can add, this is the second screen, is like you can launch the applications, any of the application which you build using any of the ecosystem like a Pick or Hive or any of the language you build. You can take the jar inside a console, you can launching the application through console. The same way you are running the jobs, when you are running the jobs in the background like a CLI, it will be displayed in the console. You can see, you can monitor the jobs, whether it is running properly or not. If it is failed or if it is successful, you can monitor through the console itself. This is a welcome dashboard. After creating the dashboard, you can see this is how it will look like. You can see how it is running the performance, how when you're running the jobs, how much means how much over it is happening in the name node, and whatever the name node and data node is presenting, all this information you can see through console. And also you can see the cluster status, means whatever the component you have installed inside the Hadoop clusters, like as I mentioned, MapReducer, HDFS, BigSQL, and Catalog HBase, all these components will be displayed in a cluster under cluster tab. You can click the cluster tab and you can see what are all the components are running, what are the components are showing warning, and what are the components are not running in unavailable status. So this status will be, we can see through the cluster status tab. So when the node goes down, you can restart the job, we can restart the we can restart the ecosystem through the console itself. The warning status means sometimes the data would be the log would be like increased, it would have been reached the threshold value. So the status will be changed into running to warning. So admin people has to monitor these things and they have to take the proper actions. So all those things, admin related activities, they can do it through this console itself. So file tab. This file tab means there is a separate, like we have seen the dashboard, we have seen the welcome board, we have seen the cluster page, and next is a file. File tab means whatever the data you are storing inside a Hadoop component. Hadoop means inside a Hadoop cluster. That is mean like inside a you have to go to inside a CLI, means you have to log in through PuTTY. There you will give a list command. What are all the file systems are available? You have to list all the data, all the files through list command. When you go inside a PuTTY and the CLI. So same thing you can do it through console, web console. All this data which you stored inside a Hadoop file system, HDFS file system, that will be tracked as a folder here. So you don't need to go through CLI. You can go to file tab. You can see whatever the data are stored in the Hadoop file systems, and you can copy or you can move or you can delete the data sets through console itself. You don't need to log in into CLI to do all the process through command. Just you can use the mouse and cursor, you can play over the data. Some of the operation only we can perform. Application tab. So once you develop the applications, you can build a jar. That application, you can install the application in the console itself. If you are using frequently that applications, you can see here Kyle, jQuery, Pick, all these applications are integrated with the BigSQL, means BigInsights web console itself. So you no need to go inside a CLI. CLI means I am talking about through PuTTY, you will give the server name, you will log in. Next session, how we are going to log in, how we are performing. The same thing we can perform through application tab. You can just click the tab and you can place the query. You can run against HDFS file systems through console itself. After submitting the job, the status would be displayed in the cluster. You can see whether the jobs are running or completed status, or it is like abandoned status. You can see all those information in the application status tab. The next would be like a big sheet. This is also you can access through console. That's why I given here, but we will discuss about big sheet later. The big sheet also you can access through the UI. Like as you see here, there will be like a there will be a tab called big sheet. You can click the big sheet, and you can it will be like kind of Excel formatted only. You can just import the data which you stored in the HTML file system, and then you can apply some of the filter functions, filter, macro, load, or pivot, join operation. All these operations we can perform over the Excel sheet itself. That is called the big sheet in BigInsights. That is also you can access through web console itself. I just given small example about between the GPFS file systems and Hadoop DFS file system. Both the file systems are same only, but some of the added advantages are available. But currently, most of the organizations are using HDFS file system only, because of HDFS open source file systems, they are releasing many added advantages in that HDFS architecture compared to GPFS. GPFS is owned by IBM. So the GPFS would be like they have whatever the file system is underlying, there will be a layer called Hadoop DFS API. The data, whatever the application is running top of this HDFS file system, it will be converted into a common DFS API, and it will play on the file systems. So irrespective of whatever the applications you are running, in the bottom, whatever the file systems are available, it will run on the same one. This is the reason actually application does not see the difference between the GPFS and HDFS file system. Here we are seeing the IBM Bigdata sheet. So I given some advantage about the GPFS file system. Retention of immutability and eliminate the single point of failure. That means a name node, if it is goes down, like we were discussing about the master node. Master node means a name node. Name node, if it is goes down, what will happen? You have to restart the systems. The name node backup should be taken by the admin or the disaster recovery TR server. From there, you have to restart the systems. That is main reasons when you go for a GFS file system, that the single point failure is not available. Means the single point means once the name node is down, we cannot do anything. We have to restore the systems using a DR server or any other backup systems. So that single point of failure is resolved using the GPFS file system. If you see here, I given a simple diagram difference between Hadoop file system and GPFS file systems. In Hadoop, there will be a different separate server for a name node. It will store all the metadata informations. But in GPFS, there is no dedicated name node available in GPFS. All these metadata informations will be available in the data node itself. So, in case any of the means in case the name node is failed in HDFS file systems, you have to call this some DR server, SSO recovery server, or any backup systems to restore the name node, and you have to restart the system. But in GPFS, all this metadata information will be stored in data node itself. If you see here also the data is storing, metadata information is storing, here also storing, here also storing. If any one of the data node is failure, then metadata information will be read by the other data node and the job will be run. It will not be, there will not be any kind of a single point failure will occur in this architecture. The same architecture I given here. In case if the data node is failed, what will happen? The same thing happening in GPS file system. See what will happen here. So this is the overall concept about the BigInsights, IBM Biginsights and Big Data component. Thank you.